Hello, welcome to ACE Manager. Bottom line focus, ACE 29, Project Cost Monitoring, Insights for a Project Manager. So far, under bottom line focus, you have seen how different types of costs impact the bottom line. In this podcast, I like to cover projects which also impact the bottom line, but in a slightly different way. By projects, I am referring to any economic activity that creates capacity. Examples are infrastructure projects, real estate projects, greenfield projects in cement, steel, fertilizer, or capacity building for consumer goods, and even software projects. I intend covering software projects in a separate podcast. More than 50% of the business activity for a developing economy like India is in projects. But I am not sure to what extent this area is receiving top management attention. Successful implementation of a project to a good extent depends on the project manager. Hence, I have chosen to share some insights for a project manager to highlight important aspects, relevance of which may not be receiving due attention. We may look at projects under two categories when we talk of bottom line focus. Some companies execute projects as their line of activity. This means they respond to tenders, submit proposals, bag project orders, and execute them. In this model, project cost saved directly impacts the bottom line as corresponding improvement in profitability. In the second category, which we call in-house projects, organization could build new plants on their own and take up capacity expansions. They may still engage construction contractors and get the projects executed. Cost incurred in this manner will sit in their balance sheets in different types of assets like machinery and plant, which get depreciated over a period of time. These companies may fund their projects through borrowings, and project cost saved may result in lower interest costs. Savings in in-house project cost would also impact the bottom line over a period of time in lower depreciation and interest costs. It also improves the return on investment for the concerned organization. Another fundamental difference between companies which are into manufacturing, trading, or services and those into projects is that in the former, activities are repetitive in nature and are amenable to easier planning and performance monitoring methodologies. In the case of projects, every project could be unique to some extent or entirely. Consequently, projects business calls for meticulous planning, visualizing and gaining clarity on the uncertainties to the extent feasible. Coming to the insights for a project manager that I have been talking about, 6 aspects of project management deserve specific attention. They relate to project scope, project cost estimate, commitment control, cash flows, time element, and good systems. While quoting for a project, you may not get adequate time to assess the scope in detail, including site conditions. You need to make adequate allowance for these uncertainties without running the risk of being outpriced. Detailed project cost estimate at appropriate granularity is the most important document for me in project management. Appropriate granularity is the key word here. Project cost estimate should be neither too detailed nor too brief. Over-ambitious detail in project estimate may make it difficult to track actual cost at the same level of granularity in the line item level. Sequence of activities in project execution are estimate, commitment, payment, and installation of equipment. You don't have to wait till the entire project is completed and payments are all made to know the cost of project against the original estimate. Once you commit some expenditure, which happens through release of purchase orders, we are almost clear on the cost that will be incurred. Thus, keeping track of purchase orders and of course Following the discipline of releasing purchase orders for all costs incurred are important in commitment control. Coupled with commitment control, estimating when a project will be completed will enable preparing what we call end of project cost estimate while the project is still under execution. This is an important management report. Cash flow projection should be dynamic, recognizing progress on the project, billing milestones, and vendor payments due. Time involved in project execution is equally important. Historically, many large projects suffered huge project cost escalations due to delays in project execution. Finally, good systems are a must for efficient project execution. In this podcast, I tried to highlight important aspects relating to project cost management. In my next podcast, I wish to cover certain aspects relating to software projects. Thank you for your attention.